What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Franchise Empire newsletter. And today we are going to talk about, number one, a resale with $1.3 million in existing sales. That sounds like an interesting opportunity. Want to learn more about that. Kona Ice. Have you ever heard of Kona Ice? Is it a good investment? How much does it cost to get open? What are their sales? And what sort of fees do they charge? There is something slightly disappointing in this information that you'll find out. At least I think it's disappointing. And we'll talk about someone who had a tech career and shifted to wanting to build some generational wealth. So Michael and Penny's story, this is a story of franchise buyers and now owners that we worked with here at Franchise Empire. And is this the most profitable gym business model in 2026? This is a video we made. I think you'll find it interesting. And before we jump into the meat and potatoes, just a quick word. All right, if you're new here, my name is Tarek Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Franchise Empire, and I'm here with our head of brokerage, the one and only Mark Magerman. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Tarek, how are you?
I was taking a shower earlier. I don't do that often, and I'm just kidding.
You don't shower regularly. I'm going to disagree with that, but okay.
And I was thinking about how to make these more entertaining and sprucing them up. So TBD, but that was my first attempt at it.
I think we should invite some of our other broker brothers and sisters on these.
That would make it fun.
Yeah.
That would make it a lot of fun.
Although I'm afraid if we got two of them on, we'd spend the entire time debating back and forth about stuff and we wouldn't get to the meat and potatoes, but one problem at a time.
You know what? People like drama, right?
I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive into the featured resale of the week. As I'll let Mark take over, but as you guys, if you're returning, you may know that every week we feature a resale, something that makes us unique at Franchise Empire. But yeah, Mark, tell us about this resale.
Again, each week we try to select one that seems to have some a little level of attractiveness to it. The first thing I'm going to say about this one is it's in Gainesville, Florida. Why is that important? Well, Florida, if you listen to us on a regular basis or you've been part of our process, Florida is a really hard area to find franchises in. It's just a very popular area. Lots of people are moving down to Florida to start businesses. So sometimes with really good brands, the only way you can get into these brands in certain areas are through resales. And frankly, very often the better brands resales don't really make it to the public domain. So yay that this one did, and we know the brand well, so we know that that we could support it. So anyway, just as an FYI for you Florida people who've been struggling to find franchises, this might be right up your alley if you live near Gainesville. It's a home services brand. As you know, most of the brands that we do get as resales do fall under that home service umbrella, which is very vast, by the way, but this is a home service brand. The selling franchise owner, now keep in mind, this is a franchise owner who owns this business and is selling it. The franchisor will probably be very helpful as a liaison in that process. The asking price is $1.1 million. Is it negotiable? What isn't? And the prior year gross sales of this model was 1.332645, asterisk, meaning unverified numbers, of course. You'd have to do your homework on that. But again, it looks like a 1.3 million in a home service brand. That sounds very mature to me. It sounds like they've been around for a little bit of time. I don't think they gave us that much specific information on it, but as I said, very limited new territory options in a brand like this, especially in Florida. So that's one of the real attractive things. And it became available, which again, in many cases, existing franchise owners are buying out other franchise owners. So it's not getting out to the public domain. So if you are interested in this brand and you reach out to us, one of the things we will ask is please make sure you find out why this business is being sold. It's always very important. Might be an opportunity to scale and purchase other selling franchisees in the area. That's always a very appealing aspect to a very well-known brand. They have very extensive, savvy leadership of the brand. You know you're going to be in good hands with this franchise. As always is the case with resales, if it's the first business you're going to own, it's not recommended that you jump into a resale opportunity. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So if you've got prior leadership and or management experience, it's a real plus. Obviously, if you've owned your own business before, even more so a plus. And as always is the case with these resales, there's going to be lots of people who are interested in this resale. Many of them may not be qualified, but they'll still throw their name in the ring. And the selling franchisee, I was a selling franchisee on a resale. I did not even get back to people unless they answered that question, which is, are you pre-approved for funding? If that answer is no, do yourself a favor. Don't bother, because you're not going to get the action that you want. So it's not hard to get a pre-approval from a lender. So please make sure you've got at least check that box off before you inquire, because like I said, you're going to be wasting your time without that. But again, this is a nice little resale with a nice brand that we'd like to work with. And again, we have a hard time finding new territories for this brand, Tarek, which makes these resales even more appealing.
Yeah, all great points. Guys, resales like this don't come around often, especially with the ones that have, 7 figures of prior year sales. And here's what I'll say, because I remember a story with a client that we were working with a couple of years ago, and they wanted a resale so bad. They were like, I pretty much only want to buy franchise if I could buy resale. Okay, cool. Some people think that, hey, I'll have a better chance of being successful. Granted, if the business has a strong track record, you may not be wrong. But if you're not an experienced leader, you could be in over your head. Anyways, this individual, we found a resale for him. It was priced at about $900,000. Why was it priced at $900,000? Because resales are 9 times out of 10 are priced based on a multiple of the amount of profit or owner's benefit that is being generated. Why do I say owner's benefit? Because the profit and loss statement could say $80,000, but then the owner is actually paying themselves a salary too that doesn't reflect in the P&L. So that gets added to the owner's benefit. Maybe they're paying their car payment out of the business and their cell phone, and all those different things get added back. Anyways, so I had to explain to this person that they were like, well, why is it $900,000? Why is it so expensive? And that makes me nervous. And it's like, hey, well, if you want a good resale that's showing a good amount of profit and multiple 6 figures of profit, the way that resales are priced, it's going to be expensive. So a resale being expensive is a good thing if you're looking for a resale that is producing maximum cash flow. If you're looking for a deal and the lowest price resale, typically that means the business is not making much money or breaking even or even losing money at that, and it's a turnaround opportunity. So when you see an asking price of 1.1 million on a resale, for most people, that should be a signal that it's an attractive opportunity, not like, oh, wow, it's so much.
Exactly right. And to that point, it doesn't work. A lot of people we talk to, they're like, yeah, I've negotiated multi-million-dollar deals. I'm gonna take this $1.1 million business and get it for 200 grand. No, you're not. These businesses have been run by the sweat and hard equity, sweat work by these owners. They put their heart and soul to grow these businesses. They're not giving them away. And if they were giving them away, they wouldn't give them away to you. That's for sure. They'd give them away to their brother or their sister or their father or their mother. So they're priced fairly. And I couldn't agree with you more, Tarek. If you are going to push back on the price, boy, you got to dig deeper into why you're pushing back on the price. It just might not be for you at all.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. By the way, so if you want to learn more about this specific resale and get introduced to the owner, you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. If you would like to learn if or what resales are available in your specific area, still go to that same website, put in your information, and then you'll be able to schedule a free meeting with our team. On to the next. Let's get rid of this jam. New franchise owner through Franchise Empire. Allie always just picks the best one. I get excited just looking at it. Mark, you want to tell us about Michael and Penny? Were these yours too?
No, this is Laura's.
Okay.
Michael and Penny are a husband and wife team, Tarek, and we love husband and wife teams or spouse teams or partner teams, because usually what that means is you can divide and conquer, and that means one owner isn't taking on the full brunt of ownership responsibility. Michael, very savvy guy, tech sales. Penny worked in product design. These are two professionals. And like many people in corporate professionals nowadays, they had experienced layoffs, uncertainty more than once. And they were just done feeling exposed. That's why probably the predominant reason why people come here. They're just sick and tired of being told they're no longer needed. And franchise ownership can cure that. One of their relatives bought a franchise. I actually remember Laura sharing this with us. One of their relatives bought a franchise. It kind of opened their eyes. They did some probing. They wanted a proven system with a clear playbook, which is a given, something one of them could run full time while the other provided stability during the transition, which makes perfect sense. And that's the only scenario where I recommend keeping your job and running a business is if it's a partnership. And most importantly, they wanted to build something that could outlive them, something their 10-year-old twins could inherit. Boy, it's a legacy pass on. It's a great way of building wealth and really setting your kids up. And a lot of people, that's a priority. In our franchise world, we didn't because we had multiple owners from different families, so it didn't work. But when you're in the same family, boy, that's really solid. They were introduced to Laura Pfeiffer. I've mentioned Laura on this podcast many times. She's fantastic. With her guidance, they looked at multiple franchise models, did extensive due diligence. I remember talking to Laura, and like every month I'd be like, what are these guys doing? Well, they're studying. So good for them. They were strong contenders, tough decisions, real conversations, which should be the case. Because again, if you're getting introduced to several brands, you got to have this major editing process that you go through with the help of our brokerage team, of course. Ultimately chose the brand that aligned best with their long-term family vision. And Laura, this is Laura's quote, they were disciplined in how they evaluated every opportunity. They weren't chasing hype. They were building a foundation. Boy, that's gospel right there in this industry. Today, they own 6 territories and are building a business designed for control, stability, and legacy. This is what taking ownership looks like. Congrats, Michael and Penny. Couldn't agree more. And again, the value here is the relationship with Laura, a very experienced broker who was able to identify their needs, find brands that matched multiple brands, and then held their hand all the way through. And I'm not sure you recall this, Tarek. I just happen to remember it, that there were times where this was like going south and they weren't going to do it. They were kind of going back and forth. And Laura's strong support was really critical in getting this done. And if I'm not mistaken, both Michael and Penny sent Laura some very nice thank yous after this was done, appreciating the effort. So again, this is why we're in this business. We help change people's lives. No more worried about corporate layoffs, getting fired from their jobs. These guys are going to kill it. In 5 years from now, they might turn to give this to one of their sons or daughters. They might go to Tahiti and spend the rest of their lives getting foot massages. God bless them.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to Michael and Penny. Was this the one in the co-working space?
It was.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's really cool. And we, in the many conversations that I've had too with some of the folks that we work with over the years, this scenario, experiencing layoffs and uncertainty more than once, becomes a real trigger for those people. They're like, I've been through a couple of layoffs, or I'm starting to see the writing on the wall a bit, and they start to get out ahead of it and put themselves in the position first before it happens, so they can take control and provide themselves stability. So I get it. That's got to be really hard and difficult to just be like, being good at your work and doing your thing, and then your company decides to downsize or restructure or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden it's like, bye-bye.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, just the human aspect of it, how demoralizing and confidence eroding it is when you get told, through no fault of your own, that you're not welcome there anymore. And in many cases, we identify part of who we are by what we do. So I get it. I've never been laid off or fired in a job before, thankfully. I can only imagine how traumatic that is. And I've had candidates say, I don't care how hard the business is. I want to sink or swim on my own efforts and I want to be in control. So yeah, owning a franchise is not an easy way to make a living. It's very difficult and very challenging, but it's yours, right? So that's really the key, is no one's going to fire you unless you fire yourself, because you've done such a great job. You promoted somebody to take your job, and that should be your goal as a business owner.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. Well, let's pivot to the franchise of the week. And as we're doing that, guys, this newsletter, by the way, that we're live streaming, we send this out at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. So if you would like to have this in your inbox and are not getting it in your inbox, you can go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. And by the way, I don't usually share about this one thing I'm going to share, but I'm feeling prompted to. We have something called the Franchise Buyers Academy. It's free, by the way. We used to charge for it. And I think I know where. I just had a random thought pop in my head. The Franchise Buyers Academy, if you're new to franchising and you're just trying to figure out like how does it work, how do these things make money, kind of what are the different options, you're just trying to learn the fundamentals overall, and the Buyers Academy is perfect for you to do that. So you can go to franchiseempire.com/FBA and you can go grab it for free. We've gotten raving results about it, by the way, and it took me months and months and months to create and produce. All right, franchise of the week, Kona Ice. Have you ever experienced one of these, Mark?
I know of Kona Ice. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I've ever inquired about franchising with them.
Okay. No, I just meant like just that you ever bought like shaved ice through them, like seen them parked
Yeah,
out
no,
front of
I've heard
them.
of them. I haven't. I know of them, but I haven't. No.
Okay. I'm not really even a shaved ice fan. I would rather like Italian ice, but shaved ice is you're just dumping syrup on ice.
Yeah, like snow cones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
My only experience with snow cones is when I was a young kid. My good buddy and I were talking about going and starting a snow cone business in the Bahamas. Getting one of those little carts and selling snow cones for $5 at the beach. We thought we just thought we'd kill it, become millionaires, and we never did it. So no.
I think you made the better decision than going into the burger business.
I think I probably did.
All right, so let's find out a little bit about Kona, and then we'll talk about how much they cost to get open. Some other disappointing information about them, TBD on that. But Kona, so this brand, it started in 2007 when Tony Lamb had a bad experience with what he described as a dirty, creepy ice cream truck.
Wow.
Okay. I definitely seen some of those where it's like, that looks kind of sketch. But
All
instead
of them.
of
Everyone.
right? Yeah. Instead of complaining about it, though, he decided to reinvent the mobile dessert business entirely, which is an interesting point because I remember the first batch of failed businesses that I had. It was all about me trying to figure out how to make money as opposed to solve a problem. And whether I like this business model or not is irrelevant. But I do love that he went into business to solve a problem because he saw what he thought was a problem. And that's where I think the most successful business owners start solving a problem. But so their motto was about cleaner trucks, better branding, and a friendlier staff, just a more modern experience. I feel like Just Shave Ice. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they do offer like ice cream and stuff too. But
Well, what's funny I noticed about that is cleaner trucks, better branding, friendlier staff, a more modern experience. They're not talking about a different recipe because I think there's only so much you could do with shaved ice and syrup. I don't really think you could reinvent that, but it sounds like he's really bright because that's exactly the part of the business that I think he probably felt could really make an impact.
yeah. And they actually did I know this because I recorded a video on this a couple months ago, but they did invent a system, the Flavor Wave system. I'll talk about it in a minute. So it's just about how they're delivering essentially the shaved ice as opposed to obviously, yeah, you can't do much different with it. But in 2008, they began franchising and awarded 15 franchises in their first year. Fast forward, and there are 1,820 trucks operating across the country. Trucks, there's not that many franchisees. I'm sure some franchisees have multiple trucks.
I'm sure.
They've leaned into community partnerships, giving back over $200 million to schools, nonprofits, and local organizations. I think that like the franchisor is not the one that gave away $200 million. What they do is when they set up at events at schools and stuff like that, a portion of their sales go towards it. That's not to minimize anything, because that's an amazing number. Just wanted to clarify how that money was being produced, because the first time I read this, I was like, hold on, what? The franchisor donated $200 million? How much money are they generating? And I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. It's a portion of the sales. So in 2024, they won a patent lawsuit and were awarded $532,000 in damages over its Flavor Wave system over another competitor for standing up for their IP, essentially. So all that is, Mark, is they give you the cup of ice, and on the side of the truck has the little faucets of the various flavor profiles, and you can just mix and match your own stuff. Yeah, self-serve, essentially. So let's talk about some of the numbers. Total investment, $178,000 to $226,000 to get open. That seems like a lot of money to me for a truck. Royalty structure, it's a flat royalty. Do you want to talk about this around like why companies do flat royalties in these sort of businesses?
I'll add if I find or something's appropriate that you didn't cover.
Okay. So this is typically when it's like a part-time business, or it's a business where the business may not generate a lot in sales, essentially, is my take on it. And it's a way to make sure that the franchisor has a guaranteed revenue stream, because typically the model is the royalty is a percentage of sales, which has the most amount of upside for the franchisor if you believe that your franchisees are going to produce, increasing levels of sales. So, Mark, any other thoughts or opinion on the flat royalty structure?
Well, no, but I think you're absolutely right. I mean, years 7 through 10, if it's not a typo and it is actually $5,000 per year, that's $600 a month in your 7th year. That's nothing. So yeah, I would imagine that the model of building these into high revenue opportunities is very, very limited. That being said, it's probably about owning multiple vehicles, because you're probably going to, similar to the restaurant business that we were in, we didn't build one because we wouldn't have made that much money on one. But when you get economies to scale, maybe if you own 5 or 10 of these, you get a discount on the syrup. I don't know, but it just seems very low. So I would agree. You haven't showed us the numbers yet, but I'm going to bet they're not going to be scintillatingly high revenue numbers.
It's going to be even more disappointing than that, Mark.
Okay. Like I said, you've had a peek under the tent here. So,
yeah, it's interesting, and I think overall these people that do this business, I'm not going to say that they don't put in a full-time effort, but think about it too. You're doing events, so you can't do events 8 hours a day. Kids are in school, stuff like that. So you're doing these on the evenings, weekends, and that's about it. So the people that are probably doing this probably have either full-time jobs already, other businesses, and or it's just something extra. Maybe, they do it as a kind of just a side income.
Yeah. And again, I'm not privy to the nasty news you're going to be providing, but that's not a bad reason, right? If you want to do something on the side as a side hustle, or you want to have a summer job for your kid or something, that's not a bad reason to invest in this. It's like, you're not going to get rich doing it, but there could be really solid reasons why this might be a really smart investment. It might be something you have fun with. I mean, my gosh, if you like going to the beach in the summertime and you could bring this vehicle to the beach and be outside all day at the beach and sell a few ices, that may be exactly what you're looking for. So it's not our job to know what the motivation and the goals are of individual franchise buyers, right?
Yeah. 100%. The marketing fees, $500 per year, $200 per year per additional vehicle. So again, quite low. Here's the bad news. They do not disclose any of their franchisee sales information. And that's usually because it's not great, or it's not high. And again, I think in this case, it's a part-time business model, from my perspective. So, the numbers don't look super attractive, but my goodness, Mark, to get to 1,800 trucks not showing an item 19 and showing any sales, That's wild. Maybe at some point they did, but that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
I've never heard of it. First of all, I've never heard of a franchisor that actually takes royalties, not sharing those sales numbers. Number one, and number two, uh, I don't really even understand why. Because even if the numbers are low, there might be a compelling story about lower revenue models, right? We talk about businesses. I'm making as an example, vending machines. Tarek, they're not a high revenue. It's a part time job, but that's not a really good example because that's not a franchise. But I don't understand why they don't. And to me, I would run screaming from this before I even got started. If they're not comfortable sharing it, maybe they've got a very vibrant franchisee validation process in which they've got dozens of franchise owners who are sharing their P&Ls. I don't know, but yeah, that's a yikes. That's a big yikes with a capital Y.
Yeah, there's another brand. I mean, I see it occasionally. There's another brand that I'm remembering. I'm pretty confident this is it. And if not, I apologize for speaking incorrectly. I'll check it in a minute. But ServPro was the other one that I remember that doesn't report any info in their item 19.
Hmm.
Um, I'm
Wasn't
I'm gonna I'm gonna
wasn't
check
aware.
that.
I wasn't aware of that, but you're probably right. However, those numbers are in the millions and millions of dollars. That's not a small potato business. Again, I don't know what the motivation would be to not share that information. Franchisees looking to buy a franchise need that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Guys, so that's the news on the sale. So look, like Mark said, interesting opportunity. There's 1,800 trucks out there. Um, cool, good for them, by the way, and the amount of money that they've generated, the $200 million through the franchisee sales to give back to schools, nonprofits, and local organizations. So talk about having an impact.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's a
pretty cool.
fantastic thing, and we did a lot of that when we were running our restaurants. You reach out to these organizations and say, "I'll tell you what, especially with this. I mean, in our case, we had to have them come in, but we would say, you know what, bring your PTA group or your soccer youth your team, or especially the local little league team in on Saturdays, bring in the uniforms. We'll give 20% of the sales back to the organization. It's a win for everybody, right? Because we're getting all these people coming in buying hamburgers and we're giving 20% back. So very solid marketing way to reach out in the community. So I give them credit for that.
Yeah, 100%. Hey guys, so I mentioned to you before about our I on these live streams, I usually don't talk about the Franchise Buyers Academy, but here it is. If you want to go grab it, again, it's free. You're welcome. Access industry secrets. I love that headline, Josh. That's brilliant. And yeah, you get to dive into the Franchise Buyers Academy. It's a whole online course and system that will give you access to industry secrets around franchising. So go grab it. It's free. franchiseempire.com/FBA. And I hope you enjoy it. In terms of Kona, I think that's it. We're good there. If you were wanting to know what franchises are available in your specific area, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. And if you're qualified, if you have the financial resources, and you like actually have some interest in seeing specific franchises, then you'll be able to schedule a meeting with our team, and they'll be able to check and see what may be available in your area that aligns with your skill sets, your budget, etc. So that's that. All right, Crunch Fitness. Wow, I like how the team used this little AI thing to make my arm look like it's jacked
Gonna
because it
say, man,
doesn't
that
look like it in real life.
looks like you got some good weightlifting behind you there.
So Crunch Fitness, is it worth it? Um, I think you guys will enjoy this video. This is one of our better performing ones on our Franchise Empire channel in a good bit. These things are wild. So Mark, there's one that opened up just about pretty much right across the street from the office, and their Facebook ads while they were doing their pre-launch was all about come see or come join our $5 million gym, which is wild to me. to put up $5 million to open a gym. And in this video, I'm pretty sure I talk about it. I recorded a while ago, but I remember looking in their FDD, they have like different models, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 of the type of gym that you can open that has various startup costs, and some has more features than others. And if my memory serves me well, the difference between tier 2 and tier 3, that's not what they call them, but I'm just saying it for lack of not knowing the terminology. The startup cost was like double, but the average sales was basically the same.
Okay.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was something like that. And we just met someone the other day that was a franchisee of Crunch.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting business. Have you ever been to a Crunch?
No, you know what? My days of getting in gym memberships are probably behind me, but no, I never did get into Crunch Fitness.
Yeah. That I did join the one across the street. It's very nice. I still work out at the Y primarily, but it's a very nice location. $5 million bucks. I mean,
$5
$5
million
million bucks should get you something nice, right?
I was going to say $5 million. You got to sell a lot of memberships to make money in that model.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys want to watch this and the breakdown on their numbers, I think it's fascinating personally. You can watch it on YouTube. This is on the Franchise Empire YouTube channel here, that you can go watch it, or on our Zero to Profitable Franchise podcast, which is the audio version. You can find it in pretty much every podcast platform, and learn more about Crunch and their business model, how much money their locations make, and how much they cost to open, and all of that good jazz, and how they almost went bankrupt in 2009 and were able to recover from that.
Nice.
So that's it, and that's all. Mark, anything else to add before we rock and roll?
I don't think so. Good stuff. And as always, if you want to learn more about any brands that we work with, or just franchising in general and how it could be an opportunity, we'd love to talk to you. So I think on the bottom of the screen, you just click that link and we will be reaching out to you. We hope we hear from you. Thanks.
Yep. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. All right, Mark. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.